Emily. I'm a beekeeper for the Best Bees Company in the D.C. Baltimore region. We are here today on top of the Lafayette Center roof in Washington D.C. We're doing a hive inspection for our client Beacon Capital Property Management Group. So let's get started. So on top of the hive here, we have some leftover winter feed. It's fondant. It's a sugar and pollen mixture that we just put on top of the inner cover so they can climb up and nibble at it if they're running out of food sources on the inside of the hive. Okay, these bees are active. They're just waking up. It's kind of the morning now, so they're a little bit slow and steady. Oh, here's the queen. So if we look closely, we can see that we've spotted the queen bee. Right now, she is not loving being out in the light, but she's still doing her due diligence and looking for a cell that is empty so she can lay an egg into that. We'll only keep this frame out a little bit longer, but I'm going to tilt it here. This is a good example of what a cell full of babies looks like. So these are all capped over cells. They contain larvae that are developing into adult bees. If you can get a little bit closer into the open cells, you can see larvae that are developing and eggs that are about to dissolve and hatch into larvae. So this frame is probably covered in nurse bees. They're young bees that feed their sisters, their future sisters. They feed them a diet of pollen and nectar, something combined and called brood bread. So we've got really great variation in color of pollen on this frame. The bees will collect the pollen when they're collecting nectar. They pack it on their hind legs in a place called a pollen basket. And then when they get back to the hive, they stick their rear into the cells and scrape it off with their back legs, and then they use their head to kind of pound it down. It's really beautiful. It's super nutritious. It's really high in protein, so it's really necessary that they have their pollen with the nectar, which is the carbohydrate, so they have a complete balanced diet. It's said for about every pound of honey that is made by the bees, they need about 10 pounds of pollen. It smells really good. Okay. All right, we're really grateful for Beacon Capital for providing a home for our beehives. It's our dream to eventually see the majority of rooftops that are otherwise kind of like barren become a home for pollinators and green spaces. We're in a really great neighborhood right now for the reason that a lot of these buildings have chosen to make green spaces on their roofs, so there is plenty available for the honeybees to forage. Take a look. Thank you for joining me today as we opened up the hives at Lafayette Center. I hope you learned something. Let me just leave you with a thought that bees are responsible for 1 out of 3 bites of food that we consume. So they're really vital to our ecosystem and to the greater ecosystem. Even if I get stung once in a while, I love beekeeping, and I hope that you got something a little nice out of this. Cool injury day.